Hey everyone, this is Chris with Elemental Play, and I'm here today to do a Keyforge unboxing. I use unboxing very loosely because I've already opened this box, and I'm sorry, I just got really anxious at the launch event or pre-release event yesterday. So I'm just going to open it up and show off what I have inside. First, I'm going to see if I can get my mic to switch because it's been giving me all sorts of problems. It doesn't really like my selections on the YouTube app. Um, Let's see. I don't see any real. Yeah, this thing is awful. The built-in one doesn't really let me change anything. Uh, when I boot it up, it picks the wrong one, and then it crashes every time I try to pick the right one. All right, I guess we're dealing with the camera mic. So sorry if my voice is cutting in and out a little. I don't mean for it. But all right, so. Keyforge is this cool new game by Richard Garfield, who, of course, had a hand in creating Magic. He was the creator of Magic. I don't remember the details. And the idea of this game is it's basically all a sealed deck event. So you buy these tiny little boxes of sealed decks that are randomly generated based on a set of cards that already exist. They're thrown together into whatever sequence. And they all have these three houses on them. Okay, it's not really on the back here. I thought it would be. And there's like 6 or 7 different houses that exist right now, and every deck has 3 houses in it. And your deck will generally have some sort of synergy among each house, and you just play it and see who has a cool deck. So you can either buy one of these boxes when you go into the store and go up for your tournament. Just grab a new one and play with that, or you can play with one that you've really liked in the past, depending on the format. But there is no such thing as constructed in this game, which is kind of cool. It makes for a different type of game. So before I go into this, I'm actually going to start with my deck from yesterday, which is absolute utter trash. This is what I opened up, and this is kind of the I guess you could say the downfall of a game where the decks are all randomly generated. I'm going to pull this down a little. So every deck has a randomly generated name. This one is called Babu Sinkmole, the Recent Ape. So the names can get pretty silly and amusing. You can see here, these are my 3 houses, Sanctum, Untamed, and Dis. When you play the game, you do have to have this card displayed. It's kind of your way of saying, these are my 3 houses, this is my deck, and every card will have your deck name printed on it there. Let me clear that up for you so you can see it. So there's my deck name right on the bottom. So every card has that in your deck. So that prevents you from using another deck or mixing the cards up. I'm sure that someone will create an unofficial constructed format for this, but it's like I said, unofficial. So every deck has this house card in it. It also has your deck list on the other side. And please don't steal that. So this is all the information that anyone would need at a tournament to check your deck and use it there. So sorry, to verify that your deck is accurate and not being cheated. So they do have a way of letting you know what should be in there. All right, so the actual cards. I will show you the front and back here. So that is the front of the card. The back has, again, your houses and your deck name and the deck art on it. So they're probably pretty hard to fake. Not possible, but hard. So you can see up in the corner here, I've got an indicator of Dis. That is the house that this card is from. I've also got this one's Untamed, and this one is Sanctum. So those are 3 of the houses that are available. So this game plays a lot like a TCG mixed with a board game, and that is kind of a cool mechanic. Basically, so the art is pretty cool. I'll hop into everything else in a second. Oh, it kind of, might look a little confusing off the top, but I mean, it's a TCG or a CCG, so it's not really that bad to figure out. One thing I did want to check is whether or not I have any Mavericks, and I don't think I do in this one. Let's see. They would be indicated in the upper right corner. A Maverick is a card that belongs to a certain faction, or a certain house rather, um, but is presented in a different house in your deck. Um, I don't have it. All right, so you got a quick look at my deck. Nothing crazy, nothing special. You can see that there are card numbers here. So the cards, there are actually, it is a limited set of a sort. So, if you wanted, you could collect the whole set. I don't know why you'd want, but all right. So the game starts with taking 6 cards. Unless you're the first player, then you get 7. You take 6 cards and you get to choose one house each round. You can either call the house or you can just play a card. Once you've played it, you have to stick with that house that round. So this hand, I would have all 3 choices available. And I might say, all right, let's go. All right, I don't like Dis for the first round. Ooh, that might be really good to get out early. So I'm going to play Sanctum. I'm going to play an artifact. It comes in. I don't know if you really have to tap them, but it comes in with Summon Sickness. And then I'm also going to play this card just to waste it. So you can play cards even if they don't have anything to target. And like I said, you can only play cards from a single house on each turn. When you play a card, it might have a play action and it might have an amber symbol. Amber is what you're trying to gain throughout the game in order to forge keys, and you want to forge 3 keys first to win the game. So you're collecting amber, and there's a bunch of different ways to do it. And I'm not going to go through the whole gameplay. I'm not going to teach you the whole game here, but that's one way to do it is off of these cards. Another way to do it is you can take a creature, and at the end of your turn, you can just reap. So if you haven't used it, you can reap, and you can, I guess it doesn't have to be at the end of your turn. It's during your main phase, quote unquote. And you can gain an amber. This one has a special reap ability where you gain an extra amber when you reap. So you're just trying to collect amber, create keys, and be the first one to 3 keys to win. So when I put it like that, I'm sure it sounds pretty simple. It is not that simple. Your opponents will steal from you. They will destroy your amber. They will capture your amber, making you have to destroy their units to get it back. All sorts of hijinks and whatnot that can happen. Of course, there are even situations where you might gain amber and your opponent gains amber for the card that you played. All sorts of stuff that can happen. So nonetheless, I said I was going to show off my deck a little bit. I was not thrilled by this deck. It did not have a lot of synergy. Dominator Bauble was cool because I could play Dis in order to and still use cards from another faction. I'm going to keep saying faction. It's a house. It's not a faction. But that didn't necessarily make it a great card. So let's see. Heal 3 damage. That was cool. This card was really handy. Made my creatures quite a bit more powerful. Untamed was basically worthless for me. I couldn't do anything with it, and I got this stupid Curiosity card, and I didn't run into anyone with Scientists in their deck. This could slow my opponent down, but again, only when I played Dis, which I never did because Dis didn't do anything except slow my opponent down, which became a waste of a turn. Yeah, so if your opponent has 4 or more, steal 1. So that was cool. That was a way to get a little extra and get a big unit out on the board. This one was good. You may ready and fight with a neighboring creature. So Sanctum was all right in this deck if I played it right, because I could fight with a creature that is off, a different house than Sanctum, even if I was playing Sanctum. So that would be handy for that. Or I could also, for example, I could drop this a 6/1 with Taunt, and then I could play this next to it, and this would become readied, and I could attack with it. So You could do things like that, which were kind of cool. This was one of my favorite cards. A fair game. Discard the top card of your opponent's deck and reveal their hand. You gain 1 amber for each card of the discarded card's house revealed this way. And then your opponent would repeat the effect on you. You could kind of stack your hand so that you use this when it was advantageous to you. If you knew that your opponent had just dropped everything from a certain house and you could tell they were kind of building up for a different house to use it, you could use this against them. And there were times when I actually caught them with a full hand of whatever house they flipped. I would get like 6 amber right off the bat. This was a good card, and it normally worked out in my favor. This one was also good. Choose a house on your opponent's identity card. Your opponent must choose that house as their active house on the next turn. So that was another handy card that could slow them down a bit. But again, these cards, most of these cards weren't really gaining much amber. They were a little slow. So I just wasn't happy with this deck overall. Fortunately, that's why it's so easy to just go out and buy another deck. These things are $10 retail. I don't even know what they are non-retail, probably $7 or $8. You can probably buy a box of these for next to nothing, like $80 or something. So let's open up. This is one of the starter boxes. I'm not going to flip it because there's all sorts of, things are going to get everywhere. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff in here. I'm not going to do it. So this is a starter box. These come with a bunch of like tokens and keys and all sorts of neat stuff that you can use in the game. They just announced today that you can't use dice as markers, or so like damage counters and stuff. I don't know why they are making that a rule. That seems really unnecessary, unless it's just to avoid confusion because your guys already have an attack power. But that, I mean, people worked through it in Magic and it wasn't a problem. I don't know. Either way, all the stuff that you could possibly need is in this box, which is awesome. And then this also comes with two additional decks. So let's see. So starting, we've got, this is made by Fantasy Flight. So of course they've got an advertisement book of all the different games here that they make, or a whole bunch of them anyway. Fantasy Flight generally makes good games. They have bad habits in how they handle things, but that's beside the point. Let's slide this out of the way for a second. This does come with a play. I think it's a playmat, right? Oh no, this isn't a playmat. It's a quick start rule guide. So this starter box is cool because it basically makes the game a unique standalone in that you get the 2 decks, the 2 random decks, but you also get all the pieces you need. So every box is going to be a little different, but you can buy just one box, $40, and play the game, right out of the gate. So it's kind of neat because you still get the full experience without having to buy extra decks. So you can see here I do have two decks that there's cards in here and there's tokens everywhere. I made a mess. I was trying to use these as I went yesterday at the pre-launch event. So I've got a couple decks here. Like I said, they're already open. Give me a minute. We'll take a look at them. Some swag I got from the event. Nice little keychain with the Keyforge characters all over it. I'll probably just leave that in the box. I don't really use keychains. They gave us this halfway through the pre-release, like I needed to know how to play at that point. That was kind of funny. There is a pile of cards. My understanding, so this has like indicators on like if your creatures are powered up and stuff. Apparently there's also 2 decks in here, and apparently they are static for every one of these boxes, so you get the same 2 decks, and we'll go through those in a second as well. They gave us these keys. You've got the unforged side and the forged side. They gave you red, blue, yellow, 3 of each, I believe, 2 of each, two of each. So that's kind of cool. Nobody knows if the colors matter yet. You definitely don't need 3 keys to indicate, like you don't need 3 of these to indicate that you won the game. You only need 2, and then there's like, well, there's my 3rd one, right? So it's possible that the colors could matter down the road. Here's your amber. Oh, that's a damage counter. So that's an amber token. I think these are, some of them are different shapes. No, maybe, yeah, some of them are different shapes. So they give you a few different shapes of them, but they're still all amber. Um, People have found cool little plastic amber pieces in place of these, which I think are really awesome. You've got, these are, I don't know, probably stun markers or something. Um, I guess the booklet will tell me. Let me see here. That is a, or it doesn't tell me. That's cool too. Yeah, whatever. Why not? Amber token, damage token, chain tracker token. Ah, okay. I'll show you that in a second. That's, I guess, an interesting way to do it. But they've got damage counters. Damage is permanent in this game, so it carries over from round to round. One, and that's pretty much all the tokens that are in there. Let's see, and then we'll go through the preset stuff. So we've got a bunch of +1 power cards. Throw these under a creature if their power is increased. Stun. So you have to use a creature in order to remove its stun. So it loses a round. You also have to pick that house to do that normally. So that's kind of a pain in the butt. Stunning is pretty powerful. There's chains. I haven't run into using these yet. I only know of them. Chains prevent you from drawing up to a full hand size at the end of your turn. So you draw minus the number of cards, and then your chain decreases. So you might only be able to draw up to 5 or 4 or 3 or 2 cards, depending on how high your chain is. So that's what these little guys are. So these mark your current chain. And then we've got two fully constructed decks in here. Let me separate them. Let's see. Yeah, I'm told that these are the same in every one of these. I cannot verify that, unfortunately. This one's Radiant Argus the Supreme, and he's got Logos, Sanctum, and Untamed. So let's see. Got probably some decent combos in here if they really are pre-built. Let's see, each time you play another creature, gain 1, return a card from your discard pile to your hand. Kind of a creature heavy deck, maybe. Choose 2 friendly creatures and 2 enemy creatures, shuffle them there on your deck. For remainder turn, gain 1 each time you play a creature. Yeah, so Sanctum is good for getting creatures out. I'm sorry, Untamed is. Sanctum is good for buffing creatures and hitting hard. Someone captures 2. Whenever you have Amber on the cards like this, it's pretty good because those cards are worth playing over and over again if you can. And then Logos, during you draw a card step, refill your hand to 1 additional card. That's pretty cool. So if you got that creature out, you're going up to 6 or 7 or whatever, a higher number. Fight, draw a card. Oh, I like that. Gain 1 for each forge key your opponent has. I guess that's fine. It's not great. Reap, draw a card. That's good. Yeah, I mean, this seems like a pretty solid deck. Play the top card of your deck no matter what house it's from. I like that a lot. Yeah, this seems like a solid deck. It's got some combos in there that could work out. Now let's take a look at Miss Onyx Censorious. So this one's got, what do we have? Brobnar, Dis, and Shadows. Shadows always reminds me of, like, is it Princess Mononoke, the little spirits from the woods. All right, so we've got elusive. So yeah, they have keywords on these, similar to any other card game. So that's a surprise, I guess. Elusive, steal 1. So yeah, steal is a really cool mechanic because you actually take it from your opponent. So it's a creates a difference of 2 between you and your opponent by taking 1 from them and adding it to your pool rather than just capturing. Whereas when you put it on the creature, so they can't use it until they kill that creature. Shadow Self, I played with one of my friends, actually proxied out a deck before the game was out, so we've been playing it for a little bit, and Shadow Self was in there. It's a really good card, just because it protects the neighbors, and it has a ton of health. So every creature starts at the same amount of health that they have for an attack. So this guy is 9 attack and 9 health, but damage counters are permanent, whereas they still continue to deal the same damage. So he might have 6 damage counters on him, but he would still do 9 damage. Except this guy deals no damage when fighting, which throws that off. This one seems good, kind of. Some stealing going on here. He's kind of neat. You just steal, so you could steal each turn to deplete from your opponent rather than reap. That seems good. He's also got elusive, so he doesn't take damage the first time he's attacked, which is great. Basically takes 2 cards to destroy him. Turn bad penny to your hand. Oh, she keeps coming back. All right. It's too bad she doesn't have an amber on her. She'd be baller. Deal 2 damage to each creature. So board wipes are totally a thing in this game. They happen all the time. Opponent discards a random card from their hand. I really like Dominator Bauble. That's a strong one. There we go. That's way better. Wow. All right. Gain 1. You fight. Valor deals +2 while attacking an enemy creature on the flank. Okay. Seems good. And these are all cards that have come up in other decks. I've seen most of these, so. Oh yeah, you can actually. There's no QR code on this. They're saying that there's going to be QR codes available, or for online play in the future. So we'll see how that goes. So those are the pre-made decks. Nobody, I don't know, you probably don't care too much about those. So let's take a look at the random decks that I opened here. Yeah. Oh no, there's more. All right. All right. Well, I can't get my hand under it, so let's go around. All right. So we've got Lasso Seller, the Petulant Moon Marauder. There were apparently some kind of rude names that came out with these decks, as I guess could be expected from a randomly generated deck list. This one's got Dis, Mars, and Untamed. So let's see what we got here. Gains Assault 2, so before he attacks, deal 2 damage to the attacked enemy. So this is an upgrade. You actually attach it to another creature. Similar to like an enchantment or however you want to, an add-on, however you want to refer to it for other games. Reap game 1. I really like Do Fairy because you're basically getting 2 every time you reap. Stun and exhaust a creature. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's definitely good. Destroy each damaged creature, gain 1 chain. All right. Exhaust up to 3 creatures. Oh, This one's so much better. I wish I had gotten this deck yesterday. This creature gains destroyed. You may put this creature into its owner's archives. Archives allow you to just pick up everything from them and you just fill your hand with them, so that's pretty awesome. You can kind of make the cards reusable. It's +1 power for each amber on it. So capture 1 amber for each friendly ready Mars creature. That is awesome. That's a great card. Archive a friendly creature or artifact when play. Do you get anything out of that? No. So this deck does have scientists, you can see. So I actually could have destroyed a bunch of stuff with that one card from the last game. Ooh. Must lose 3 amber. But when it's destroyed, you gain 5. That's good. It's very good. Your opponent has no amber, gain 2. Yeah, this deck is way better. I'm going to bring this one to work tomorrow and play my coworkers. Cannot play more than 2 cards each turn. Yeah. Ooh, and I got fair game in here. All right, let's see if there were any Mavericks in this deck. I haven't seen one yet, so my friends have got some, but I want to see if I actually pulled any. Pretty sure the logo is up on the upper right for it, because I haven't seen them using that corner for anything else, and I have seen pictures of Maverick cards that do use that corner. So nothing there. All right. Part of me wishes I'd stayed through the whole event yesterday. I ended up leaving after the 3rd game. I got a bye the 1st round, and then second round I lost miserably. 3rd round I was really close, but didn't quite pull it off. All right, so the last deck I have here is Warlord Rocket Flag Jet. He shadows Mars and Sanctum. So anyway, yeah, I ended up leaving after the 3rd round because I was just so unhappy with my deck and just getting crushed. So that's something that can certainly happen in this game. I'm not amazing at TCGs, but I'm not bad. I shouldn't have lost that badly, and I probably should have won the 2nd game. It was just luck. I couldn't do anything. My opponent was sitting on like 9 amber, so even though I had a card out that would make their keys cost 3 more to forge, keys normally cost 6 amber, he still would have been able to do it. So there was just nothing. There was nothing there for me to do, unfortunately. Creature gains elusive and skirmish. This one's already got elusive. This one's already got skirmish. Winners play ready. Yeah. Steal 1. Deal 2 damage. Deal 2 damage. Sacrifice a friendly creature. If you do, deal 3 damage to each 2 creatures. Seems good. Opponent skips the forge a key step on their next turn. I definitely like that. You can push them back a turn. I had one in my deck for yesterday that was if your opponent forged a key their last turn, destroy it, and then they gain 6 amber. That is, I thought that was a really good card. It definitely puts them ahead for a turn, but at the same time it puts them behind for a turn. So if you can pull amber off their deck, off their board, then you're getting yourself ahead. Unfortunately, that deck had nothing to pull amber back from them, or very little, so it just didn't matter. Staunch Knight gets 2 power while it's on a flank. May fully heal a creature. Yeah, I mean, ooh, that one seems repeatable. If you choose Sanctum as your active house, gain 2. Get all your Sanctum out on the board or something, I guess. Turn an artifact to its owner's hands. Heal 3 damage. Ready and use a friendly creature. Choose a house. Stun each creature of that house. Okay. That seems solid if you're running up against a deck that's pretty different than yours. And Mars is in here, which is a great deck, or a great house. It's a friendly non-Mars creature. yeah, this deck's okay. Not my favorite. So, all right, so that is everything I have. That is all of my Keyforge stuff. So if you haven't played Keyforge, definitely go give it a shot. Like I said, the decks are only $10. You get 36 cards um, plus your house card, and that's it. It's $10 to play the game. You buy a deck and you play it, and everyone's gonna say, well, yeah, but you might not be happy with your first deck, and you might want to buy others, or you might decide that you need to buy others. But the truth of the matter is, you don't have to. This game is $10, and you're all in. You have everything you need. So it's up to you where you take it from there, how competitive you want to be, how much you feel like you need to buy more. And I guess you could say that about any TCG to some extent, but with this one, it's not like, oh, I have to dump $150 into my first deck, and then it's going to go out of, it's going to cycle out in 3 months or whatever, and then I have to update, half the deck and spend another $60. No, this they probably won't be making anything. They probably won't like outdate anything or ban anything, with the exception of they did produce some decks with some unfortunate naming that they said, hey, you cannot use this deck competitively. So for those ones, you can either hang on to them for funsies, or you can send it back to them, and they will give you 2 decks in return. So it depends on what you want to do. Kind of worth it to maybe send it back, but also kind of worth it to hang on to it, because I mean, who doesn't want a deck that is banned by the manufacturers? Those will obviously be worth something. So, especially if the game sticks around. We did get a good turnout at our store yesterday. Our local game store had 20 people. We really don't have a super active gaming community around here, so seeing 20 people at that event is a lot, especially for a brand new game. I know that a place about an hour away from me had 40 people show up, and that's definitely good. So this game is definitely getting some traction. People are really into it. The store owners I've talked to really like it. And even one of them was even like playing it with us. So it's a cool game. Check it out. Give it a shot. Play it with your friends. Buy a couple decks to play with them if they won't get into it on their own. I mean, what, $20 so that 2 of you can play, or $40 to go all in with the starter box. It's all kind of worth it. So anyway, that's Keyforge. Those are my decks. That's my unboxing. Thank you again for watching, as always, with Elemental Play. Make sure to follow me on YouTube and on Twitter, and I will continue putting up videos. I really appreciate all of your support, and have a good one, everyone. Bye.